Hello everyone, this is Dr. Anaga and this is Dr. Praveen Jacob. We are here to present you about irritable bowel syndrome / irritated bacterial syndrome. Well, I have been practicing with Dr. Praveen for the last 6 months and I am sure that all the IBS patients that I have treated have got 100% results. It is a misconception that most of them think that IBS is because of stress.
Yes.
But doctor, I think it's like you say, it is irritated bacterial syndrome, and let us tell more about it to our viewers.
Yeah, so general public to health experts, they have a tendency to accuse everything on brain. When you have stress, depression, IBS, we try to accuse our brain as the major driving factor here. Recent studies suggest that psychological disorder to metabolic syndromes are mediated by a tiny organism called as gut bacteria. So human beings are created by two types of cells, not just cells which we inherit from our parents. We are owners of two types of cells. One is bacteria cells, one is human cells. Do you know one fact? Bacteria cells slightly outnumber our own cells.
Okay, so we are, as sir tells, our better half is the gut bacteria, right?
Definitely, better half, because 50% human, rest of the 50 is bacteria. So always I love to call our gut bacteria as our better half, because just we are 50% human.
So that's really interesting that we are made of 50% human cells and 50% bacterial cells. So sir, you say that it is because of the bacteria that psychological disorders to metabolic disorders. Yes. But can we look more about it, like how exactly bacteria causes the psychological and metabolic disorders?
Yeah, for instance, scientists have identified as high as 400 types of neurotransmitters produced inside gut by some strains of bacteria. And it is famously called as gut-brain axis.
Okay.
And additionally, gut also called as second brain, because 400 types of neurotransmitters, brain hormones, are synthesized inside our gut. Later, it moves to brain. For instance, as high as 90% serotonin, the major happy hormone,
yes,
is produced inside gut, not in your brain. So that is a huge impact of the gut on brain. As you asked me, how gut bacteria can impact your brain. Gut bacteria contribute to the neurotransmitter production in gut, serotonin production. So if you don't have some strains of bacteria, you're going to miss the hormones which is produced from your gut.
Okay, that is really interesting. Unlike our notion, most of the neurotransmitters are not just produced by brain cells or neurons, it is produced in your gut. So like sir said, how it can impact on your psychological health, so this is the answer, because most of the bacteria produce your neurotransmitters, especially your serotonin levels, and which is also called the happy hormone. So doctor, what exactly is IBS or irritable bowel syndrome?
Yeah, irritable bowel syndrome is IBS is called as irritable bowel syndrome, and there is a notion that IBS is related to stress and depression, which was the notion from past many years. That's what most of the IBS patients are treated with antidepressant medication because of strong correlation between brain and irritable bowel syndrome. But recently, scientists have identified an incredible pathway, gut-brain axis, where they found that the IBS is mediated by some strains of bacteria, and they call this condition as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth.
Okay.
So if just you can Google it. So that is a huge relation exists between small intestinal bacterial overgrowth and IBS.
As sir said, IBS or irritable bowel syndrome is strongly related to the bacteria in your gut. So it is proven that the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth can cause the IBS symptoms, and we will see how it affects, and we will see the research papers that is based on it.
So this is a study published from American Journal of Gastroenterology. This suggests the title of the study was like this: small intestinal bacterial overgrowth in irritable bowel syndrome. So I will explain subsequently what do you mean by small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and study taken from the American Journal of Gastroenterology. They found that a type of bacteria, they start colonizing the intestinal tract, leading to hyperperistaltic movement,
Okay.
which manifests as symptoms of IBS.
Okay. So as you can see in this study, this is the study published in American Journal of Gastroenterology, and this suggests that in small intestinal bacterial overgrowth in irritable bowel syndrome. So which means your irritable bowel syndrome is not just caused by your stress, but it is actually caused by bacterial overgrowth in your small intestines. So let us look more about it.
Yeah. So as I pointed out initially, we are composed of two types of cells: human cells and
Bacterial cells.
50% human cells and 50% of bacterial cells. So we are a hybrid species. Human is a
Yes.
hybrid species composed of bacteria and human cells. And most of these bacteria are found in our digestive tract. Most of the bacteria, maybe 99% of these bacteria cells are found in digestive tract, including stomach, intestine, and large intestine.
Okay.
Most of the microbes are found in large intestine. Even small intestine and stomach harbor bacteria, but compared with the large intestinal microbes, they are very negligible. For instance, the stomach harbor less than 1000 bacteria in 1 ml fluid. When it comes to intestine, close to 10,000 microbes in 1 ml fluid. But when you reach to large intestine, over a billion. So most of the microbes are found in large intestine. The most of the stomach and intestinal microbes are aerobic bacteria,
Okay.
and 100% of large intestinal microbes are anaerobic bacteria.
Okay. So friends, as you can see, the stomach contains less than 1000 bacteria per ml, and small intestine contains less than 10,000 bacteria per ml. And we have seen that in the large intestine it harbors more than billion of bacteria per ml.
Yeah.
So let us see what exactly is small intestinal overgrowth, bacterial overgrowth,
small
right?
intestinal bacteria.
So how exactly is it caused?
Yeah, small intestinal, we have seen there are microbes found in intestinal tract, but in SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, the anaerobic microbes, which are supposed to be found in colon, move on the upward direction and makes this settlement in small intestine. So anaerobic bacteria moves to the intestine, makes the colony, and leads to a condition called as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So that completely creates a chaotic environment in intestinal tract.
Okay. So what is supposed to be in the large intestine, the anaerobic bacteria
microbes
will enter into the small intestine where only aerobic bacteria is harbored.
Yeah.
So this causes an imbalance in the intestine and its functioning, and there is overgrowth of the anaerobic bacteria in the intestinal, small intestine, which is it is not supposed to be so.
Yeah.
So, and that is how irritable bowel syndrome is caused.
Yeah, irritable bowel syndromes
Okay.
initiated after these microbes settle in a wrong direction, in a wrong place. So the good bacteria settle in a wrong place,
Okay.
leading to small intestinal bacterial
Bacterial.
overgrowth, which is the underlying cause of IBS. That's what always I love to call IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, as irritated bacterial syndrome.
Okay, so I hope now you understood why it is called irritated bacterial syndrome and not just irritable bowel syndrome. So we saw that bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine initiates IBS. So let us look into how it exactly causes. Doctor?
Yes, as I told you, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, the underlying cause of IBS.
Yes.
When the individual suffers from SIBO, that have an impact on a type of hormone which is usually produced from the intestinal tract. Have you heard about serotonin?
Yes.
Serotonin, which is a major brain hormone produced in the intestinal tract by the help of some strains of bacteria.
Okay.
So this SIBO bacteria, small intestinal overgrowth anaerobic bacteria, they suppress the growth of some strains of bacteria which are responsible of converting tryptophan into serotonin.
Okay.
Yeah, tryptophan into serotonin and leading to impaired production of serotonin. And serotonin has got two tasks. It is not just act as your brain hormone. Soon after the production of serotonin in intestinal tract, they initiate the peristaltic movement. That's the first mission of serotonin, initiating the peristaltic movement. After initiating the peristaltic movement, serotonin is taken to brain, where it serves as the brain hormone. So there is a two major tasks for serotonin. The first task is
The
initiation of
initiating.
the peristaltic movement.
Yeah.
Second task is acting as a brain
hormone. Okay.
So when you don't have serotonin production, so these two processes are impaired. Peristaltic movement, additionally the brain functioning. That's what most of the IBS patients suffer from either conditions.
Okay.
Increased peristaltic movement or
Reduced.
reduced peristaltic
Yeah.
movement. That leads to constipation dominated IBS.
Okay.
When the peristaltic movement is impaired, reduced, leads to constipation dominated IBS. When the peristaltic movement is enhanced, that leads to diarrhea dominated IBS. And simultaneously, patients tends to suffer from depression.
Yes.
So the root
Okay.
cause is not
Gut.
your brain, the bacteria in your gut. The small intestinal bacterial overgrowth leads to impaired production of
Serotonin.
serotonin.
Okay.
And when you don't have serotonin, that will have impact on peristaltic movement simultaneously, which will have a huge influence on your brain as well. For IBS patient, depression and irregular bowel movements are like two sides of a coin.
Okay. So friends, as sir beautifully explained, so how exactly the bacteria causes your IBS symptoms? So as sir said, the gut bacteria, that is your bacterial cells in your intestine, is supposed to produce serotonin. So when the anaerobic bacteria starts growing in your small intestine, it suppresses the aerobic bacteria, right? So which is responsible for serotonin production. And as serotonin, as you all know, serotonin is called the happy hormone. So when we see at lot of IBS patients, they are prone to suffer from depression and stress and anxiety. That is because they don't have enough amount of happy hormone. So this happy hormone is not just responsible for your moods, but it is also responsible for your peristaltic movement, that is the movement of your intestine. And that is how you either have more movement of your intestine, which can cause diarrhea, or it is reduced, which can cause constipation. So it is interlinked. Your moods, your anxiety levels, your stress, your depression, and your peristaltic movement, which is caused by the serotonin levels in your body. And the root cause, the production, is by the gut bacteria. And that is how it is the irritated bacterial syndrome that causes your irritable bowel syndrome as well. So let us look about a study which has been published in the journal. So as you can see, British Journal of Pharmacology, and it is a research paper that has been published. It says role of serotonin in the pathophysiology of irritable bowel syndrome. So as we explained, serotonin is related to irritable bowel syndrome. So IBS and depression, how it can be interlinked, doctor beautifully explained. And even here it is like, as doctor explained, the gut-brain axis.
Yeah, gut-brain axis is famously called as, it's a bilateral communication. The brain talks to your gut, gut talks to
brain.
The brain. So the language of gut to brain is by some chemicals called as neurotransmitters, and these neurotransmitters are produced by bacteria.
Okay.
So when you don't have these microbes which produce the neurotransmitters, so there is the miscommunication from gut to brain, leading to symptoms of IBS. So IBS patient, both symptoms coexist together, depression and constipation together.
Okay.
Individuals who suffer from irregular bowel movements also has the issue with their stress level.
Okay. So as you said, doctor, how IBS and depression are interrelated, but the irony is most of the patients, they usually go for taking the psychiatric medications,
Yeah.
thinking that it is because that they have high stress levels and high depression is caused by some kind of stress or anxiety, but actually it is caused by the gut.
In a common language, in a common man language, I can conclude it.
Yeah.
Madhya Pradesha control Uttar Pradesha.
Yeah.
That's what even Hippocrates
Yeah.
told.
Yeah.
The Ayurveda told. The gut control our brain.
Yeah.
So healthy Madhya Pradesha ensure the happy Uttar Pradesha.
Okay, that is really nice.
Yeah.
So if you keep your Madhya Pradesh happy, your tummy happy, then your Uttar Pradesh or your brain will automatically be happy. So doctor, we saw that how SIBO and IBS are related and how it also causes depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
So can you explain about the treatment protocol of this condition? Is it that people have to take psychological drugs or psychiatric drugs, or can we cure it by some other means?
Yeah, hundreds of my IBS patients got complete remission by triple therapy, and surprisingly, when they improve their bowel movement, the symptoms of IBS, they got complete remission of their depression and stress level. Most
Okay.
of them are on anti-psychiatric medication, anti-depression medications. When their gut health improved, which helped them to get rid of their medication, which they were depending from very
Long
longer
time.
time.
Okay.
Longer time. So I have developed a therapy
Okay.
called as triple therapy, which consists of 3 components. The number 1, natural antibiotic, because we have to kill bacteria, small intestinal bacteria, which are anaerobic in nature. You require natural antibiotics, which I have isolated and extracted from Indian herbs, Ayurvedic Indian herbs. The second component, to battle with the bad bacteria, you require some strains of healthy bacteria, good
Yes.
bacteria called as probiotics. Not only probiotic bacteria, I use some type of good fungus also in my treatment protocol, which can inhibit the growth of anaerobic bacteria, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and most importantly, a good diet, devoid of carbohydrate. A simple tips I would like to share here. As I told initially, SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So most of these microbes are anaerobes.
Yeah.
Anaerobes cannot survive without glucose. They require carbohydrate.
Hydrate.
So you can starve and kill anaerobic microbes by stopping carbs in your
Carbohydrates.
diet. So I have developed an amazing diet. So once patient combine these 3 components together, natural antibiotic, probiotics, and a diet devoid of carbohydrate, they get incredible result. Very rapid progression. The diarrhea dominated IBS stop within 15 to 1 month, but constipation dominated IBS, that takes slightly longer time. I can assure complete remission in a span of 3 months, for which no cure found in the world today.
Yes.
No treatment is successful.
Yes.
Even FODMAP diet can give you temporary result. As long as you follow FODMAP diet, you get some temporary relief. The moment you switch over, the condition relapse. But when you remove this small intestinal bacteria, you can tolerate all type of food. IBS patients are intolerable to hard type of foods like nuts, dairy products, gluten. But after my treatment protocol, surprisingly, most of the patient became sensitive to all this type of dangerous foods, which they could not enjoy from longer period of time. So the root cause is SIBO. Once you remove the SIBO, IBS patient can enjoy all sorts of the foods in the planet, even raw food to non-vegetarian foods and high-fat diet. Even
Okay.
gluten and dairy milk also can be tolerated by IBS patient. So the root cause is not your
SIBO.
stress. It is a notorious bacteria
Yeah.
settled in a wrong place. Anaerobic bacteria settling in the tract of small intestine, and this condition is called as small intestinal bacterial
Overgrowth. Okay. So as doctor suggested, it is not just treating your symptoms, you have to treat the root cause, and only when you treat the root cause can it be remitted permanently. And I am sure that most of the patients who have been admitted to our hospital, I can say that 100% of the patients that I have treated and who have been treated under Dr. Praveen Jacobs protocol, they have got really good results and they are enjoying a happy life now. So doctor, thank you for letting us know about the triple therapy to treat the IBS condition, and I'm sure that most of the patients will be depressed or anxious about their condition, and I'm sure that this is going to help them a lot. So doctor, thank you very much for telling us about irritable bowel syndrome or irritated bacterial syndrome as you would like to call. And friends, the root cause of your IBS is not just your stress and anxiety, it is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or SIBO. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends. Thank you. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.